rise and shine, my friends. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather. And of course, the big story, bottom left corner of your screen, is Hurricane Erin. The very latest 8 a.m. intermediate advisory had to wait just a couple of extra seconds for the latest data on that to come in. Winds are at 110 miles an hour. It is looking a little more ragged this morning, but that is not expected to stay that way for forever. It is expected to get a little bit stronger. It is expected to stay well off of our shoreline. And as it does so, really churn up the surf up and down the east coast of the United States. Now, there's a closer inspection on Hurricane Erin. And just to give you an idea, with winds at 110 miles an hour, that does make this storm system a category 2 storm. Okay. Now, there's the wide shot. Let's just zoom into the cone a little bit here to give us some kind of perspective, right? Expected to become a category 3, we think about a Beam, Flagler, or Jacksonville. We're talking 5 miles an hour. We think that as it kind of hangs out around the Gulf Stream waters, it can get a little bit stronger. And then it makes its closest pass to the United States, which keeps it off the shoreline. Okay. Now, there's going to be some people in the world that are sitting there and telling you. Now, the cone itself is about 123 miles off the shoreline. The center of circulation of the cone is about 200. So, the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center says that the cone, or that the center of circulation, should come within about 130 miles of the coastline. That said, this is a large enough storm system that while we do have tropical storm watches and warnings in effect for Turks, Caicos, Bahamas, there are also now tropical storm watches posted for the Outer Banks. And the reason is, again, this is a very large storm system, so it does put out some significant wind and wave action. So let's just look. This is the American GFS model. Okay, and this is looking at kind of winds. Okay, first thing you'll notice is tomorrow, as the storm is north of us, it's going to be able to wrap around wind enough that it's not going to be hurricaning in our area. It's not going to be tropical storming in our area. But some gusts running 20, 25 miles an hour on our coastal communities cannot be ruled out. And again, I'll back this up just to kind of show you it's incredible how the Bahamas work, right? The Bahamas are insulating things, but as the storm gets further north, that wind field is able to start wrapping back to the shoreline. By tomorrow, I suspect we're going to be talking about some considerable wave action and some considerable gusts, at least well off the shoreline, right? Then afterward, watch through time. You're starting to get more gusts. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to Control A. I'm going to select all these keyframes. I'm going to just select, delete. I want to come into the Outer Banks and show them, okay? As the storm makes its closest pass, all right, we start to see some of those green shades showing up, particularly in the Outer Banks, 35, 40 mile an hour wind gusts. That's one of the reasons why there have been evacuation orders put into place, and certainly there's like that state of emergency and tropical storm watches are posted. Not because there's a direct impact whatsoever. The storm stays off the shoreline, but it's a wide enough wind field that the Outer Banks, being more susceptible, more vulnerable, they could be receiving some of those outer impacts. Okay. Again, not a direct landfall to them. All right. Moves away and things start to get better. But, truth be told, even our friends up in like the Delmarva Peninsula or coastal Jersey, Montauk, for example, Cape Cod, look at how the wind field does kind of spread that to, ooh, extreme close up. But you can see that wind field, 35, 40 mile per hour gusts are possible all the way up into coastal Jersey and even into New England. That's why these tropical systems have wide impacts, right? For us in Central Florida, high surf advisory in effect through Thursday night because of the dangerous rip currents and, of course, the high surf. So, what do we talk about when it comes to those local impacts, right? So, for today, seas offshore 6 to 8 feet. For folks going to the beach, 5 to 6 foot breakers. For tomorrow, 10 to 15 foot seas off the shoreline. For folks going to the beach, 6 to 8 foot breakers, right? And then Thursday, still rough, but starting to calm. And then Friday, looking much, much better, right? So that's kind of where we're at, okay? In terms of what this storm system is going to do. Very well behaving storm system. The overall idea, oh, click the wrong button there. The overall idea with it is that, yes, it is there. It is going to be churning up the surf, roughening up conditions, but it is behaving itself, okay? So I will pause for a second and open up the floor. We're going to get to the other stuff in the tropics. I want to pause because I haven't been reading any of your questions or comments or concerns about Erin. So the floor, my friends, is yours. Kim Hauser Starry says the Outer Banks flood very easy, which is why they've got those advisories in effect, why the state of emergency is posted. Jeannie Rowan says surfers unite. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're a very strong swimmer, that sort of thing. Edna, flying Orlando to Heathrow Saturday evening. Any impact on flight route? No. Flights are not going to be impacted from Orlando. Shouldn't be. Christian's asking, what's the latest models on the next two systems after Erin? We'll get to those. I said, let's talk Erin first, then we can move on. Matt says, looks like it's getting a little bit of shear. Yeah, it's got some stuff going on to it, but that's fine. Let it do its thing. Yeah. Any possible flooding for the Halifax River in Port Orange? I mean, as water comes into the Ponce Inlet, I don't think that the angle of attack is going to be significant enough that we're going to be talking about significant flooding. I mean, the water levels may come up a little bit, but not expecting anything bad. That's a good question, though. Yeah, that's a really good question. And I would also take a moment and say that WJCL Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Nelson and I will be doing our Tracking the Tropics today at 10 o'clock. So look for that. And of course, in Tracking the Tropics, we'll take an even deeper dive into the tropical data and all of that fun stuff. All right. We're doing it on Coffee Talk too, but we it's a different dichotomy when you've got two nerds talking instead of just the one. So there we are. All right. That's Erin. We good? Cindy says, scooch on by. See you, Erin. Yeah, agreed. All right. Next. Next up on our tour is Hadrosar Cove. Okay. Wide shot of the Atlantic. In addition to Erin, we have two other areas of interest. The area in orange has now a medium chance of developing. That has been tagged as an invest. I believe it's Invest 99. And then there's the next wave back behind it with a low end chance of developing, but both are to be watched. Here's a look at the satellite imagery, and there they are. Now, um, timing and kind of location, the struggle that we have is, of course, trying to figure out where everything goes. These next two waves are looking healthy. There has been a significant amount of upwelling after Erin, as you would imagine, right? Not that button, that button. Yeah, this again. Hold on a second. This better be better today. There we go. Thank you for behaving. All right. So let's take a look at the raw American model, just kind of to see where we're at. There's Erin recurving. There's that next one that's Invest 99. Let me just double check it's 99. I got to make sure. Stand by. Mm. Yep. Invest 99. Okay. 2 a.m. All right. So there's Invest 99. What's interesting is you see Invest 99, then look like right at the coast, like a little something popping up. Anyway, there's 99. Then there's a little piece of energy that enters into the Gulf around September 3rd, September 4th. The struggle here is going to be how everything times out. This is at the end of the GFS model, so there's a lot of stuff. Let's look at the European. There's Erin recurving. Euro doesn't really want to do much with Invest 99. Okay. And then another thing. So Euro is really quite quiet. Let's look at the Euro AI. There's 99. Okay. All right. So the Euro products are quiet. Let's look at the ensembles. There's Erin. There's Invest 99. Definitely some ensemble members trying to develop it. Nothing crazy for support, but there is notes. Notes of cocoa. Notes of Fernand. So, I mean, nothing, not a real strong signal of anything there. All right, Euro ensembles. You see there, kind of at the end of the 60, we'll go to the mid zero. Yeah, I mean, so there's some notation of something. And really, so what's so interesting to me is like the euro is very, very quiet, full run. Let's go to the euro AI, like there. Now at the end of the euro AI, around the 30th, there's some hornets down there in the Caribbean trying to work over to the Gulf. So all in all, the ensembles are not really going bonkers with stuff. The operationals are not really going bonkers with stuff. So we're going to watch these next two waves, but there's not a massive home run signal that these two are going to get going and become big bad hurricanes. Fine with me. Fine with me. But, it's at least worth mentioning that that's kind of where we're at, right? So we'll watch those again back out to the tropical weather outlook. They both have a fairly low end chance of developing in the short term. But looking at the next 7 days' time, the one in the central Atlantic, highlighted in orange there, has a medium chance of forming. And then the one just coming off the coast of Africa has a low end chance of forming. Again, we've got lots of time to watch these guys. And certainly we're going to be doing that. But the good news is, for right now, the big game in town is Erin. The good news is Erin will stay out to sea, impacting maritime uh, industry significantly. But in terms of making landfall in the United States, it's not going to do that. It will give a glancing, impact for the eastern seaboard, particularly the Outer Banks. But in terms of overalls, that's kind of where we're at. All right. So, questions, comments, concerns. I'm sorry to disappoint you to not have a category 6 heading toward Florida. For those of you that love the hype, you're in the wrong place, right? The 30/30 is Invest 99. Did I get that wrong? Thank you, Casper. It was 2 a.m. and I haven't processed my brain yet. Everything I said, just omit. Yeah. Frank says, no panic here. When they form, they form. I'm prepared always. Well, that's the thing. Aside from me tagging the wrong thing in my head, it is what it is. I mean, Wilmington, Catherine, is beautiful, but yeah, you just have to deal with the storms. I wonder if PR has power back. I don't know the answer to that, but I could probably get that set up. I've got a power outage product here. I've got, for our local area, I could probably, obviously we don't have any significant power outages, so that's good. But I could probably set that up as a temporary product for our friends over in Puerto Rico just to look and see, right? Let's see here. I can give you a prescription. Can I give you a prescription for Flonase? I know I need to work on that. It's been a week now, I feel like. Yeah. Does Eric read YouTube chat or is it on another platform? I read all the chats. They're all in one syndication feed from me. So I do my best. The problem is this time of year, we've got well over 1,000 people watching live and the comments come in quick, fast, and in a hurry. So especially when I'm like looking at a different screen. Right now I'm looking at the comments. And so I can see that. But yeah. Um, Ville Marie apparently is in Puerto Rico. Says some of us got power back in Puerto Rico. So Ville Marie, yeah. So very good. Thank you for the report down in Puerto Rico. We'll have to. I'll put that product together and have that ready. I didn't even think to do that. See, this is also why I love Coffee Talk. Is you guys tell me what you want to know, and I'm not smart enough to know what you want to know. So it helps me. So I appreciate you. Joyce says, sitting on the beach in any Atlantic beach in Brevard County, the ocean seems angry. You know, to that point, uh, I haven't, we look at these, but we don't look at these every day, right? Like sometimes we look at these. So this is going to be, so we have access to the weather. Well, that one's not pointed in the right direction at all. We look at these weather stem cameras from time to time, particularly during hurricane season. There's a shot at the weather stem camera that is in Marineland, Flagler County. So that's further north. But nevertheless, I mean, it's a beautiful morning. Look at that. That is lovely. Right? But yeah, it's very clearly, the wave I could tell you the wave action is up a little bit. Let's go over to Port Canaveral over at the jetty. Yeah, I mean it's gorgeous, but we don't see the water there. Let's see what other I'm just looking at what other cameras we've got. I know that Daytona one. I wonder, is it just zoomed in? What's the deal with it? Size, what happened here? Oh, see, somebody fakakta this. Oh, it's because it was fakakta. Hold on, let me rotate this. If I do that, see, this is what happened. Yes, I understand. Z-axis needs to be 0. See, it was messed up, so I tweaked it. Now it's back to being good, so I have to tweak it back. Okay. So you said that the sea seems angry. That's interesting because truthfully, it doesn't seem that rough from this vantage point, at least. Right? Like Daytona Beach, that doesn't look wild. I'm not saying that like we should be swimming in it. I just mean like it doesn't seem wild yet. Now, I do expect that the wave action picks up today, but let's see, Brevard. What other shots do we have in Brevard? That's the jetty. That's in the port, but that's the port's going to be fine. Lucia, I think it's just beachside. Yeah, this is looking back. I mean, look how pretty that is, y'all. Like, good gravy, that's gorgeous. That blue sky. That's the Ponce Inlet, but that's not on the water. And Victoria Guard. So this is going to be the closest that we've got like to the water there in Volusia, and then in Flagler County, we've of course got the Marineland shot. Yeah. So, I mean, the wave action's picking up. The breeze will be picking up. So we'll be getting there. Yeah. But it also makes sense that Brevard, we just don't have any weather stem cameras in Brevard, at least not when I last checked. But it would make sense that it's rougher in Brevard and then works its way north. So that also would make sense. Gina says, Eric, I'm so thankful you're there for it. Well, thank you. I appreciate you being here for me. Have I thought about joining hurricane hunters for coffee talk? That would be cool. Yeah. All right. Check Satellite Beach. I don't, I'll have to look. I haven't gone into the weather stem database for a couple of days or for a couple of days, couple of months. So I'll have to look and see like what other weather stem cameras we have access to. Yeah. Rosemary says waves are definitely up this morning. Absolutely, right? Yeah. All right, let's see here. Pull up the new Smyrna Beach tower cam. Let's see. Standby. Oh yeah, that's a good one there. Yeah. So clearly the wave action is up. Yeah, from looking at it at a different perspective. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't look like it's gotten quite as rough up into Marineland yet, but it'll get there. Yeah. Let's see here. Ba. Thank you, Don. I appreciate you, buddy. All right. So, end of discussion with Erin. Again, 10 a.m. We'll have more on tracking the tropics. But in the meantime, anything else? Do you guys have anything else to chat about? Surf picking up? Let's look and see what Futurecast says for our rain chances today, shall we? If I can find it. Here we are. All right, so here's Futurecast. Full screen because you don't need to see my ugly mug. So looking good, 10, 11. Few showers around lunchtime, and that's going to spark into the thunderstorms 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and then kind of into about 6, 7 o'clock, fading a bit. So yeah, right? 2, 3, 4 is going to be kind of our peak activity for the storms. So when we get you into your forecast today, there you go. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Not a significant opportunity for storms today, but there will be a few storms today. All right. Sound good? All right. So that said, let's look at the 7-day forecast here today, okay? Bada bing, bada boom. All right, so rough surf, rip currents for sure. Rain chances lower because, again, with Erin east of us, it's kind of pulling away that moisture. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, our moisture starts to go back up. 93 today, 94 for Wednesday, 94 degrees for Thursday. Coastal 7-day forecast. The idea still holds true. Yeah, big rough surf, rip currents, highs around 90 degrees. All right. Sound good? Questions, comments, concerns, my friends? Melanie says, you are the best meteorologist. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate you. 10 a.m., tracking the tropics. WJCL Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Nelson and I will be doing the full rigmarole regarding Erin and the other waves behind it. Okay? Dawn is correct. Tracking the tropics at 10. You got it? You got it? All right. Stephanie says he does sometimes read YouTube comments, but I think he's also replying to Facebook chat as well. It's all in one screen for me, all the comments. So whatever I see is what I read. I don't play favorites on platform or people, truthfully. All right. All right. 10 a.m. I'll see you then. I got to go to